Good morning and welcome to Morning Java, brought to you as always by Get Go Cafe and Market, where right now, Dayon, they got the good burgers.
They have really good burgers.
Oh, yeah.
They're thick.
Thick.
The stuff that comes on them is fresh.
The toppings are always good.
And there's always that extra cheese, if you ask nicely.
Ask for the extra cheese. It goes well, especially on that all-American burger.
If you don't even have to ask, you just tap the thing on the screen. You just keep going like this and the cheese here.
But let's talk about the burger that everybody's talking about in town, and that's Roethlisberger.
Oh, burger.
Yeah, you see what I'm doing? That's the ultimate segue. I got him. Anyways, everyone's talking about Ben Roethlisberger because he came out with his interview on KDK with Bob Pompiani and made some comments about his past stuff with Antonio Brown.
He's just, it's just so, you know the hashtag Ben being Ben, whenever he does his scrambling in the backfield and everything. This, my friends, is Ben being Ben off the field.
Yes.
This is what he does. He'll stand there in front of us after a game in which he could, like, 22 of 23 passing for 6 touchdowns, no picks, and he'll stand there and say, that was on me. He doesn't mean a thing he's saying. I say this with some modicum of admiration, I might add. He doesn't mean a thing he's saying, but he's looking for what is the one thing that I can just say here that makes me sound like the world's greatest teammate. He did what he did. He said what he said.
And that's what the quarterback's supposed to do. Cover the bases, cut off the nonsense, and everyone knows. I mean, Steelers OTA start today. So everyone, that was going to be the first thing everyone wanted to talk about with the team being back together officially for the first time since the end of the season and all the drama. So I think this was a well-placed idea and well-placed time to say, let's put this in the past. I'm sorry for what I said.
Yeah, to an extent. I mean, he did take, and I'll give him credit for this, he did take the one area for which he was most responsible, which was spouting off on his radio show, which at the time I wrote, and it was kind of unpopular with a good segment of our readers. I took issue with the fact that he would say these things on his show, but never to people like us in the locker room, and probably never, ever to those players in the room. So it was almost like he would just find this strength suddenly on Tuesday mornings when he was doing this, the Ben Roethlisberger show. I didn't like that, and I like the fact that he really manned up on that.
Yes, he did. And guess what? That means everything's done, right? Wrong.
Yeah. So Cam tweeted at me.
What'd he say?
Cam tweeted at me.
What'd he say?
He was moderately displeased.
Oh.
But in a very Cam type way here. I tweeted that Cam is greater than Terrell.
Okay.
Meaning that Terrell Edmonds had no business whatsoever, in my opinion, liking an Antonio Brown tweet that referred to Ben Roethlisberger as Two-Face.
Right.
Okay?
That's why this isn't done.
So I put Cam is greater than Terrell. And he comes in after that and says, no, not like that. That's my teammate. He works his tail off. He's a kid of high character and a great family. The sky's the limit with him. Don't judge a guy off his Twitter likes. To which I respond, if you say it, this is to Cam, that's my gospel, how it's always worked. You know that. See you tomorrow. Because what Cam says goes for me. I trust the man and have for a long time. He's been great with me in bad times, in good times. You've dealt with him yourself. He's extremely straightforward.
You made me interview after a game.
Oh my God, I remember this.
And they had just lost to the Bears.
Wait, wasn't it Mike Mitchell?
So he was after Cam. He was after Cam.
I pulled one on you.
Yeah.
No, go talk to Mitch after a loss.
So I go to Cam, and Cam's about to kill somebody, and that's why he's the nicest guy. So I'm like, oh, maybe everyone's like that.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, what did you feel like? I don't want to talk today. Okay, Mike.
He had his. All he had was he was wearing a towel. And I go, Carter, go get him.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. But anyways, that's Cam. That's Cam Hayward, right? He's a leader. He knows how to handle things. He's very professional at all times.
Well, handle it then.
Yes.
That's been my point all along here. I can say to people, and I've written in columns all I want, I trust Cam Hayward as a leader. I trust Ramon Foster and Marquise Pouncey as leaders. Okay.
But they got to show it.
Lead.
Yeah.
Lead. So Terrell Edmonds does this thing where he likes somebody's tweets, which, by the way, Cam acknowledged in his response to me. Great. So it doesn't have to be in front of me. It doesn't have to be on Twitter for everybody to see. But deal with it.
Put your foot down in the locker room.
Find Terrell Edmonds if he hasn't already, and I would be surprised if he hadn't.
He knows where he'll beat him today.
Get the leaders of that room together, okay? Get the DBs together, because you know how that is. The DBs all kind of hang over here, and they have Joe Hayden as their leader, and it's a bit of different. Okay, get who you need to get. Get Vinny, get Joe Hayden, get Stephon Tuitt, get everybody, and say, hey, kid, we're not going for it anymore.
Nah.
We're not going for it anymore. Not because we care what you can think whatever you want.
Right.
Okay? But this isn't about you.
But keep it in here.
This isn't about you.
Yeah.
This is about the Pittsburgh Steelers. You feel like ripping Antonio Brown?
I mean,
Okay.
Pittsburghers do it all the time, so I don't need to, but
Do you feel like ripping Le'Veon Bell?
Again, Pittsburghers do it all the time, but let's go. Let's go.
But the 2019 season is going to come along.
Uh-huh.
Okay? And the Oakland Raiders will still have to take the field. And
Eventually.
And suck.
Yeah.
And the New York Jets will have to take the field.
And what?
And suck. And they will do so, the Jets will, other Jets, with a head coach who is now publicly known to have not wanted Le'Veon Bell to be signed.
And got rid of the GM. Yeah, this is just...
No, they got rid of the GM who just committed, the other Jets. $150 million in free agent spending, conducted their draft.
Yep. With the 3rd overall pick, brought in Quinn Williams.
3rd overall pick, and then fired him, which is the most Cleveland Browns thing since the last thing that the Cleveland Browns did. It's amazing.
And give them time. I'm sure they'll do something else.
Do you know how bad these teams are going to be and how much people in Pittsburgh are going to pay attention to and appreciate that?
I guarantee you the first game that Antonio Brown does not get a touchdown or 100 yards receiving
First quarter.
it's going to be the first thing that people in Pittsburgh are talking about. Even
more than the games
that the Steelers
are playing.
It's going to be a huge point of emphasis. And people have been saying all offseason, who's going to have a better year, Juju or AB? Juju or AB, and now you're.
That's not gonna be close.
And that's the thing, is that you're dealing with Derek Carr, who still doesn't have an offensive line.
Derek Carr's a good football player. I'm tired of people picking on.
But
not you. I just
no. But let's put him next to Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah. No. I understand that, but I'm saying people talk about Derek Carr
like
as if
he's
heading Blake Bortles or something. He's not.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
He's a good quarterback, but he's in a system that hasn't worked for him the past few years. He's been hurt. He doesn't have an offensive line. I mean, there was the picture of him looking very unhappy as he was getting picked up after a sack last year. This is a guy in a system that they still have to really figure out how and if it's going to work.
And really remember, that's what I was going to say, for the first time under John Gruden and with the Jets.
Yeah, I mean, Adam.
What are you talking about?
It just
and
seemed,
where's Adam Gase? You know, we all deal with people in workplaces who are, we call it great in meetings. Like, I can picture Adam Gase must be like the world's greatest interviewer. Like when he comes in to interview for a job.
Checks off all the boxes.
Except for the one that he was 13-19 over 2 years, head coach of the Dolphins, with at least some talent at hand. And then he just walks in, and now he's the coach and general manager of a franchise in New York. And
this is a team that they got defensive stars now. They have Jamal Adams. They got C.J. Mosley. They got their franchise quarterback in Sam Darnold. Got to see if he plays out. But they got a guy that at least they have a shot.
They have
at that.
Theoretical,
right? Yeah. And now they have Le'Veon Bell. So they got playmakers here and there. But they still, this is why the Patriots win the AFC East every year.
Because they get to play in the AFC East every year.
Bill Belichick just sits back and laughs as they just
He starts scheming for the other games outside the division he has to play, because he just goes, Buffalo, here's 2, New York, here's 2, Miami, here's 2.
And occasionally those teams will steal one or two, but, again,
against New England, it's pretty rare.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.